Hi guys, my name is Latifa and welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it. Make sure you stick around by subscribing to this channel. Click on the notification bell so that you can get notified every time I upload a new video. Like, share, and leave me a comment in the comment section. So for today's tutorial, we'll be learning how to draft a basic bodice pattern. A basic bodice is the upper part of a dress, like you have here in this picture, from your neck to the waist. So it's covering your torso from your neck to the waist. That is a bodice. So in this video, I'll teach you how to draft the pattern and also how to eliminate puffiness and make the pattern fitted. Now, if you want to really understand how we get the measurement that we'll be using for this tutorial, or you want to learn how to take a body measurement, make sure you check my video on how to take a full body measurement. I'll make sure I leave the link down below. So let's get started. So guys, let's get started with drafting the pattern. So for this tutorial, you need your tape, marker. You can also use your pen. I need my scissors, my armhole curve, and my ruler. So the first thing you want to do is fold your fabric in two. I'll be folding this pattern paper. So if you are drafting on your pattern paper, fold your pattern paper in two. If you're drafting with your fabric, fold your fabric into two. So before I fold, I want to fold with the biggest part of my measurement. So the measurement that we're using for this pattern will be bust 34 inches. The waist will be 28 inches. The shoulder will be 14 inches. And the half length, which is from the neck to the waistline, will be 16 and a half. So I'll be folding with my bust measurement because that is the largest part of this measurement, which is 34. And you want to always divide all your measurement by 4 except your shoulder measurement. Your waist, your bust, your hip, you want to always divide them by 4, but your shoulder measurement will always be divided by 2. So I'll divide my bust, which is 34 inches, by 4, and that will be 8 and a half. Then I'll add my allowance. So for this tutorial, I'll be using 1 inch sewing allowance, and that will be 9 and a half. I'm just going to make it 10 and a half so that I can have enough allowance. Let's first input our half length measurement, which is 16 and a half. So here we have 16 and a half. So the next thing you want to do is, so this will be your center front. This part is your center front. So you want to input your neckline measurement. And before you do that, there is a standard measurement that you need to place at the shoulder part here, which will be 3 inches by 8 inches, like this. Can you see that? Then where you have this 8 inches, you want to come down by 1 inch, like this. Right here, 1 inch. Then you slant this 1 inch to your 3 inches right here, like that. So now we just create our shoulder slope. Our shoulder is not straight, the shoulder is always slant. So we already created our shoulder slope right there. So the next thing we want to do is input our armhole measurement. So for the armhole measurement, there is a way to calculate that, and that is by dividing your bust measurement by 6 and adding 1.5 inch to that. So I said the bust measurement for this will be 34 inches, and that will be 34 divided by 6 plus 1.5, and that will be 7 inches. So from right here, this part, place your tape and measure your 7 inches straight down. And after doing that, create a straight line like that. Now let's input our shoulder measurement. So for the shoulder measurement, I'll divide my shoulder measurement by 2, and that will be 14 divided by 2, 7 inches plus ½ inch sewing allowance, and this is for joining the sleeve to the armhole. So but if you don't want to join a sleeve to it, you can leave it at 7 inch. So that will be 7.5. Then put that 7.5 right on this line, which is our armhole. Like that. Then connect this line. So this is the 7.5 and 7.5. Then you connect it together like this. So we just created our armhole length like this. So the next thing we want to do is input our bust point. So for this measurement, the bust point is 9.5. Then the waist line, like I said earlier, is 16.5 right here. So let's have our 9.5 right here and make a straight line like this. So let me go through everything that I've been saying earlier again. So the first thing I did was to measure my half length from here to here, which is 16.5. Then the next thing I did is I input the standard measurement for your shoulder slope. So here we have 3 inches. From your center front, you go in by 3 inches by 8. So we have 3 inches by 8 inches right here. Then after doing that, I come down by 1 inch exactly at this 8 inch right here. And after coming down by 1 inch right here, I make a slant joining the 3 inches to the 1 inch right here. And that is to create our shoulder slope. After creating the shoulder slope, the next thing I do is to input my shoulder measurement, which is 14 inches. And 14 inches divided by 2, because you have to divide your shoulder measurement by 2. And that will give me 7 inches, which is right here. Then I had ½ inch allowance, and I have 7.5 inch right here. Then I input that same 7.5 inch right here like this to create a straight line. You understand what I'm saying? Then this line from right here to right here is our armhole length. And the way we determine that is by dividing your bust measurement by 6 and adding 1.5 inch. So for this bust measurement, we have 34 inches, and I divided that by 6 plus 1.5, that will be 7 inch. So I place my 7 inch right here, as you can see, and that is that. Then the next thing is my bust point. So my bust point is 9.5, and that will be from the shoulder here to this place. We have 9.5, and the next will be my half length, and you can see 16. So let's continue. Now we want to create our armhole. So before we create the armhole, we need to input our bust measurement. The bust measurement is 34 inches divided by 4. That will be 8.5. So 8.5, and I'll be adding 1 inch allowance to that. The next will be my waist measurement. So my waist measurement is 38. 38 divided by 4 will be 7 inches. Then I'll add 1 inch sewing allowance. And I'll also add 1 inch dart allowance. So I'll be creating a dart to give the waist a nice fitting here. So you have to add the allowance of that dart to this measurement. So another 1 inch dart allowance. So your waist measurement divided by 4, which is 7, 1 inch for sewing allowance, and 1 inch for dart. I hope you understand that. So the next thing now will be to join this together like that. After connecting it, then to determine your dart measurement, you will need your nipple to nipple distance or your apex distance. So for this measurement, that will be 7 inches, and that's 3.5. So you mark 3.5 from your center front right here inward like this, and you repeat that here at the bust point like this. So after doing that, make a straight line just like that, and after connecting it, you want to come down by 1 inch from the bust point. This is our bust point. This is our waistline. So come down by 1 inch like this. You see that? Then right here on the waistline, you want to go in here by half and half. So half inch on both sides like this. Can you see that? And you don't half here and half here, that will give you 1 inch, and that's the 1 inch that we replace here, so that by the time we sew that in, we still have 1 inch to represent that, so that the waist measurement won't be short at this waistline. So the next thing is to connect this to this. So go right here like this, and right here, and there we have our dart for the waist. So after doing that, so the next thing is to create our armhole curve. Before I do that, to eliminate the excess fabric you always have at the armhole part, you want to take the measurement you have from here to this place. So from this place to this place, which is 7 inches, then divide it by 2, and that will be 3.5. Then after dividing it by 2, you want to come in by 3/4 of an inch. So that will be right here. Then the next thing you want to do is connect this to this like this, and curve it inward. That is, you can do it this way if you don't have a armhole curve, but we using this armhole curve to do that for this. So just like this. Can you see that? So you coming in right here will help you eliminate the excess bulge, just excess fabric you have around the armhole. So after doing that, the next thing is you want to input your neckline. This depends on the kind of neckline you want. You can make it V, you can make it round neckline, you can make it keno. Just do whatever you want to do with the neckline. So for this, I'm just gonna make it 3 inches. No, let me do 3.5. I'm just gonna do 3.5 by 3. So yeah, and just connect it together like this. So there we have the front pattern for our bodice. So the next thing to do is just to cut this out. But before you cut it out, now make sure you add your allowance. And what I mean by your allowance is, you know, this is the shoulder part. You will need an allowance to join this front shoulder part to the back shoulder part. So I'll be adding ½ inch allowance to this place, and the down part too, I'll be adding ½ inch. And the ½ inch that I'll be adding to the down part is to join the down part to a skirt or to something else. Let's assume I want to make like a peplum top. I need to add ½ inch to join my peplum to this down part. If I'm joining this to a skirt pattern to make it into a dress, I'll be adding ½ inch to, you know, join it. So let me add my ½ inch. I don't need to add any more allowance here because I already had 1 inch allowance. So remember, like this. So this is the allowance that I had it earlier. So make a straight line from this part like this. Then for the shoulder part, I'll add my ½ inch again like this, and join it together like this. Can you see that? So the next thing is to cut out our pattern. We are done with the front pattern, so let's cut it out. So you cut from here, and as you can see, we have our neckline and we have the shoulder part, and here we have our front pattern. So now we'll use this front pattern to cut the back pattern. So I'll use my front pattern, the one we drafted earlier, to cut the back pattern. So for the back pattern, you need your zipper allowance because you'll be putting your zipper at the back of your dress. So for this, I'll be using 1 inch. So you can mark your 1 inch like this. And place my pattern exactly right here like this. So I'll use this pin to hold it down. Now you really want to pay close attention to what I'm about to do for the back part here. The back is always shorter than the front. And the reason for this is because we have the boobs at the front, which will make the front longer. But because we don't have boobs at the back, that makes the back half length shorter. But there is a lot of method you can use in drafting the back pattern. So what I do is I take my back measurement, and for this tutorial, the back measurement is 15 inches. And what I mean by my back measurement is, you know, I took the front half length, which is from the neck to the waist, and that is 16.5. So I also did the same thing at the back, and for the back I have 15 inches, and there's a difference of 1.5 inch. So what I always do is for the back, I measure that 1.5 inch difference right here like this. Can you see that? So after doing that, I make sure I mark the end of this place like this right here. Then I'm going to take out my front bodice now. You know, this is the front bodice, so I'll take it out, and this is our back. So for the back right here, what I'll do is come in by my sewing allowance. So in the sewing allowance that I left for this is 1 inch. So I mark 1 inch right here. Can you see that? And slant it to this point. You know, this is the 1 inch zipper allowance. So from this 1 inch, I slant it like this. So this is the way I eliminate that excess puffiness at the zipper allowance. So this part will be shorter. By the time I'm done, I'm just gonna cut it like this, and this part will be shorter than the front. And when this part is shorter, but this part will be equal, so that by the time you are sewing this together, this part will not be longer than the back. So this part will be equal, but the center back right here where you will put your zip, yeah, this place will be shorter than the center front. So after doing that, the next thing that I do is go in by 1/2 inch right here like this. Then slant it to somewhere around here. So like this. Just gonna slant it like that. So what I'm doing right here is to give you that perfect fit at the back. I've been using this method and it is amazing. The back of the dress will be very fitted and flat. So going by 1/2 inch, slant it straight down, and also reduce your back. So the next thing we want to do is our back neckline. So for the back neckline, so make a straight line from this point like this. Then for this, I'll be coming down by 1 inch. You can do 1.5 depending on the back neckline you want. But you remember that we already added 1/2 inch for the joining, so make sure you include that 1/2 inch to whatever measurement you want to use. So okay, that is straight now. Then so I want to come down by 1, then with the 1/2 inch that I already added, I'll make that 1.5. Then I'm going to curve that like this. You can also use your ruler to do that. So that will be that for the neckline. Then the next will be the armhole. So for the armhole, the back armhole is always different from the front armhole. Yes, so for the back armhole, you don't go in by 3/4. If you remember when we were drafting the front pattern, we came in by 3/4 of an inch. So what we are going to do now is create that armhole length that we had initially. So this is still the armhole length right here. Just connect it from here to this part like this. So can you see that? You remember initially we had something like this. We just came in by 3/4 of an inch to form our armhole. So now for the back, you don't need to come in by 3/4 of an inch. So all you just have to do is get the midpoint from here to here, and that was 3.5 inches. So this is 7, then divided by 2, which is the midpoint. We have our 7.5 inches right there. Then create your armhole curve right here like this. So just come in, and you can also use your armhole curve to do this. And that is that. So the next thing you want to do is cut out your pattern. We are done. So cutting out the pattern, so this armhole, remember you'll be tracing this back armhole, the new armhole, this one that we just created. Then after cutting that out, now you can take out your front pattern, and so cut from here like this. Then you cut this one too. So this is our back pattern now, and as you can see, this part is longer than this part is shorter. So this will be our center back. Now if you want to insert your zipper, what you want to do is you still want to insert your zipper on the 1 inch allowance that we left earlier. You remember we left 1 inch. So don't be like, oh, because I already trimmed that 1/2 inch here, so my zipper allowance will now be 1/2 inch. No, your zipper allowance is still 1 inch. So you just mark 1 inch like that, and like this, and connect this. So this is where you'll be placing your zipper, right on this line. So I hope you understand what I'm talking about. Now we have the front and the back. So when you want to join, you'll be joining like this. this part is equal, so you sew your 1 inch sewing allowance here, and as you can see at the back right here, this part is shorter by it should be 1.5. Can you see that? 1.5. So this is perfect. So you want to make sure you follow all the steps that I showed in this tutorial to get this. So this will be the other side. You do the same thing, 1 inch straight, and you just sew like this. You sew like this. Can you see that? This is also equal, and you join the shoulder. Can you see? With 1/2 inch, and that is equal. Can you see that? And that will be that for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.